Hey, welcome back to Doc's Boost. Today it's all about what the fuck Ford and the service department. Jeez, come on now. Doc's Boost invites you to subscribe, click like, and follow me on Instagram, because it really does matter. We've all been exposed to that, and there's a lot of things out there that's going on that's just not right. So for me, it's all about Peg's Pony and throwing a P0018 code. So what's a P0018 code? Well, let's start from the beginning. Check engine light comes on, you attach your DTC code retrieval tool or your tuner or whatever you've got to plug into your OBD2 connector and read the codes. That code says P0018. P0018 is a code all about the left bank camshaft positioning sensor is not correlating correctly to the crankshaft position. So it throws the code. Usually the repair is that the sensor itself has gone awry. So you put a new sensor in, go on your way. And that's about the extent of it. So let me take you through what happened. Peggy came into the house, said, hey, my check engine light's on. You need to go check it out. You need to do something about that. So I went out there, and sure enough, check engine light's on. So I grabbed my tuner. I went out there, and I plugged it into the OBD2 connector and pulled the DTC code P18 out. Well, I already know that that's the left bank code because the car's done that before. About a year and a half ago, we pulled that same code out of there, took it down to the Ford dealer, and they replaced the left bank camshaft positioning sensor as well as the right bank camshaft positioning sensor. Took care of both sides at the same time. Figured, why not? You know, one went bad, maybe one's not too far behind. You know, good logic. So we got that taken care of. So here we are again, another P18 code. Well, we also know through that experience that low oil pressure could be a problem. So we topped it off. We found it to be 1.5 quart low. We topped it off, cleared the code, started the engine, code came back. So then I returned the engine to stock tune, and then I put the CAI tune back in it, started the engine, and after a moment or two, the check engine light came back on. So getting that P18 code again, we decided that we were going to have to take it down to the Ford dealer. Well, we didn't take it down or make arrangements for a couple of weeks. I mean, the car ran perfect. There was no idle issues. There was no performance issues. Highway speeds ran good. I mean, it was a good running car. So we knew that it was probably just a sensor malfunction. No big deal. And she didn't complain about performance. Now, she's not a high performance driver, but it is a GT. It is a 5-speed manual transmission, and she enjoys the car. So after a couple of weeks of driving the car, because there was no issues, she kept saying, hey man, the check engine light's still on, it's still on, it's still on. Do something about it. So I did. I called the Ford dealer, told them that we had a P18 code, told them it should still be under warranty, and we're going to bring it in. And they said, yeah, bring it down to us Monday morning at 7 o'clock, and we'll see what we can do for you. Monday morning rolled around, 7 a.m. We're in the Ford dealer here in Phoenix and turning the car over. Hand them the receipt from the warranty issue, the receipt from back in early 2018 with the same P codes being thrown, the P18, P0018 code for the left bank sensor A being faulty. At that time, as you recall, I told you they replaced both sides just to make sure. I'm good with that. Right off the bat, they started talking, hey, well, we can't be sure that's going to be it again. We got to do some tear down. We got to get inside. We got to make sure that timing's not off and everything's in good shape and you didn't break. They had me agree to $450 worth of tear down money. Well, I should have picked up on the cues right at that time. I should have known I was probably going to get screwed. I knew they were probably going to be lying to me. I know this wasn't going to work out in my favor, and I should have just turned and ran out of there like my pants were on fire. But I didn't. I stood there and took it. I grinned. I didn't want to argue with him about anything. I didn't want to demand anything. I really wanted to give him a chance because after all, the job was under warranty. I'm going to give him a chance. So I turned the car over to him and I left. With the expectation that I'll get a phone call in just a few hours to let me know what the situation was. Alright, so now that they got the car and I'm out the door, there's several things you need to keep in mind from this point. First, well, we rented a car straight away. Peggy needed a car to get around on. We figured rent the car day and a half, 2 days tops, right? Hour and a half worth of work, sensors popping in. And two, performance issues were non-existent. Peggy's not a high-performance driver like I am, but she knows her car. When things go wrong and things are different, she's right there in my face making sure that I know there's something wrong with her car and I need to go out there and take care of it. So no performance issues at all. It was only the check engine light on and that kept bugging her. That's why we got it to the service department in the first place, because she couldn't stand looking at that light. But that was it. No performance issues whatsoever. Alright? Gotta remember that. And third, you remember that 7 o'clock appointment? You would expect someone to get onto the car within the 30-40 minutes from that appointment date, and then a couple hours down the road have some information for you, right? Alright, car rental, no performance issues, and appointment. Alright, a week goes by and they haven't touched the car at all. So I go down there and find out what's going on, and they said, well, it's still out in the lot, we haven't got to it. And believe it or not, now what service manager's in his right mind is going to tell you this? Part of his reason why they never touched the car all week is because they have a hard time getting quality technicians. They can't hire quality technicians. The folks coming out of these tech schools just don't make the grade, so they only have a few technicians out there that they can count on. Who tells people that? Who tells customers that? That's not customer-friendly information at all. Alright? So I say, well, what am I going to do about this car rental? I've been renting a car all week, man. And they said, well, we'll fix that. We'll put you in one of our cars. So take the rental car back and then come in and pick up one of our cars. We'll have it ready for you tomorrow morning. Perfect. So that's what we did. We're now in a Ford loaner car. But they also said they're not going to be able to touch the car till Monday, so we'll hear something on Monday. So as you know, we heard that Monday morning song and dance before, so Monday came and went, Tuesday came and went, Wednesday evening, end of the day. Hey, we just got a word from the technician who's working on the car. He found your car 3.5 quarts low, and that caused your engine to jump time. It's 1/2 off, 11 degrees out of time, and it's going to cost you $4,700 to get it fixed. Wow. I didn't get a kiss, I didn't get a hand job, I didn't get nothing. I just got it rammed right up. You know where. And man, I go, what? Okay. I didn't want to argue with them. Been down the road before with them. Don't want to do this again. I just told them to close it up. Let me know when it's ready to get picked up, and we'll pick it up. We're not going that route right now. And I just want to take one moment to tell you, remember I told you, we topped it off. As soon as the light came on, we topped the engine oil off. So we know it went to 3.5 quarts low. That's a lie. Just a flat out lie. And the fact that they didn't charge us for 3.5 quarts of oil on the ticket when we picked it up. So they're not just going to give away 3.5 quarts of oil. They just don't do that. And there's just no way the car jumped time. Just don't believe it. Will not believe it. I cannot believe it. If things didn't break, it didn't jump time. Plus, The car had perfect performance. It wasn't running bad at all. All it was the check engine light for the sensor problem, and that was it. If it was 11 degrees off, it would have been running like a crazy, and we wouldn't have kept it for a week waiting to get to the shop. I would have drove it right in there right away and done the job, period. Well, actually, I probably would have taken it right down to Amp Performance and let them do it and not take it to Ford dealer. The only reason why I did was because the sensor issue was a warranted repair. So I just said, put it back together. They said they'll call me when they got it ready. Well, they called me on Friday, said late Friday, we got it back together for you. Come on, people. So I said, I'll be down Saturday morning to pick it up. So I picked it up Saturday morning. It was 13 days in the shop. I picked it up on Saturday, and as soon as I turned the key and started that engine on Saturday morning, that car could barely get out of its own way. Oh my God, I said, did they really do what I think they did? Did they actually go in there and use that $450 to take the gear, move it a tooth, and attach it back to the camshaft so I can now experience a out-of-tune car? There's no worn parts. You're going to see in just a few minutes, you're going to hear in a few minutes from Chris down at F that there was no worn parts. Everything was in great shape. The guides were great. The oil pressure actuator was great. Everything was great in great shape. There's no way he could get it to jump time with no broken parts. It just can't be done. Now, timing and timing chains have come a long way since I was in the garage business. We had pushrod engines, camshaft down the middle, a cam gear, crank gear, and a chain. Those cam gears came with nylon teeth, and they would get ripped off of there. Chains would move, timing would go out of whack, engines wouldn't run very well, if at all. You know, and I replaced hundreds of those in my day. And the broken gear looks a lot like this. And you can see that you can just spin it around and you can see the teeth broken right off of it. That's an easy fix. You put a double row chain and gear set in there and off you go. Things are great. Today we've got overhead cams and chains going in a lot of different directions. We got double overhead cams with 2 chains going around each of the camshafts, and that's driven by another chain going down to the crankshaft. There's a lot going on. The chains are real long, and there can be some slack for sure. But that's why the guides are built the way they are, so that the chain tension gets taken care of. And there's an oil pressure plunger pushing against one of those chain guides that takes up all the tension on startup as well as while it's running. And as long as all of those parts are in good shape, there's no jumping possible. Even with the guides in place, if you take all the slack out, move everything out of the way, you still can't get that chain manually to lift over teeth and to land on one tooth over. You just can't do it. Cannot do it. I know back in my day I could never put a chain on after the gears were in place, and you still can't do that today. Put chains on with the gears in place. Just can't happen. Now let's go talk to Chris and see what he found out about Peg's pony. Hey Chris, how'd that car go?
Went great.
All right, so what'd you find?
Got on our IDS, and we were looking at the cam timing on there, and we could see the cam timing was off. Well, if I had to assume what had happened is because they changed a cam phaser?
Well, they didn't change the cam phaser out, but I suspect they were in there and they disconnected it, or they took it off to inspect it, but put it on wrong on purpose or inadvertently, and then came back and told me that my engine was out of time and I needed to spend $4,500.
Well, basically it came down to a really simple fix. And unfortunately, it required taking the timing chain cover off and getting down to releasing this tensioner here. And then what we did is we realigned the cam. We pulled the cam off and marked it on the chain on top and bottom before we pulled the tensioner off. And then once we removed the tensioner and pulled the chain off, Then we tried lining those marks back up with the marks. You can see that there's one mark here on the top of the cam gear, and there's another one at the bottom of the gear. And those two links wouldn't line up. So basically we had to take the chain off, set it out, and then when you get them all aligned, there's two links that are basically opposing each other. You mark those ones, and then you put it back on. And sometimes there's a black link on two black links on there as well. But you put it back on, and then everything lines up. You're done. Put it back together. This is what we found is it runs a million times better.
And there is no reason to change any guides because there was nothing broken, nothing
broken. Nope.
The phaser and the gears weren't worn down. Nothing was worn down.
Nope. Everything was in really good shape. It just needed to be put back into time. It was out of time, so someone was in there, and I know someone was in there because even the silicone was fairly fresh silicone on the valve covers there too. So
back in my day when I was mechanicing, there's no way that you could put both gears on the gear in the camshaft, gear in the crankshaft, and then wrap the chain around the gears that were already there. You have to put both gears on there, and you put it on there. So there's no way that if you had both gears on the engine, there's no way you could put the chain on with both gears being on the engine already.
No, there's no way. Well, you can put the chain on there, but like I said, something has to come off. The tensioner in the shoe would have to come off in order to do that. But any way you look at it, something has to come off in order for that chain to go on or even jump a tooth. And everything was intact.
Then the camshaft positioning sensor turned the light off, right?
Right.
Well, I guess we'll settle up and take that car home and deal with it whatever way we can. All right, so that's my P0018 code story end to end. It's too bad that Ford just wouldn't honor the warranty and put in a sensor and be done with it. An hour and a half's work, but no, they had to play the game with me. So I'm done with Ford service. So I guess just research the issues and research the service department and make sure that it's credible. Look for references as best you can. And whenever there's any doubt in your mind and you don't feel like they're being honest, just tell them to wrap it up and get on out of there and get a second opinion. Hey, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.